Hello everybody, welcome back to Formula 197 Championship Season, Round 9 at Silverstone. This is my third attempt of finishing this round. The first round basically have finished due to failure of the fuel line, and I finished at lap 40 plus. The second attempt I have finished at lap 20 plus, and it was the same malfunction, the same fuel line failure, which I cannot stand. It's very silly. This is the attempt number 3 with practice session. Basically, practice session is 13 laps on the track undisturbed with the main goal of it being beat my personal best record that is currently established on the track. So yeah, let's go. We are technically aiming, when it comes to the reaching a good personal time, we are currently trying to reach a 1 minute 18.5, but if we're gonna reach 1 minute 17, that's gonna be just as great. But 18.5 is like a very good time. We're already over a half second faster on the first split.
With the 107% rule of the past couple of years, we're seeing that the tail-end teams have had to sharpen up their act and spend longer making sure they can do competitive time. This means that the gap between the qualifying time from the front to the back of the grid is now much less.
Over a second faster on the second split. Wow. First,
dry at the moment here, but I
that is absolutely amazing.
Clouds gathering overhead.
Very first lap, and we have already reached 1 minute 17.7. That's I thought I would be able to beat that. Like,
he's already
how did I manage to do that?
Intermediate one.
I'm impressed. I'm truly impressed. We have came out. I had expectations
Second. Third.
of a different time, and we have managed to do the best time on the very first lap. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to do it on the second lap at all because I scratched the gravel a little bit.
I'm looking at his previous times now. He's down at the second split. Normally, motor racing, driving a car right to its limit, is very much a skill from the head, not from the heart. But out on the track today, we're seeing some really passionate performances.
Like, if I'm gonna reach that time on the qualifying session, I pretty much don't have to worry about anything. I mean, we technically don't really have to worry about anything. The one we're gonna reach a time of 1 minute and 20.
You can see shadows on the track now. The sun's really coming through.
Because the cars during qualifying are very slow. They're always gonna be at least 3 seconds behind us.
He's already behind his best time at intermediate one.
we've pretty much done what we're supposed to do at a very practice session, which is absolutely amazing. And at this point, do I even have to try? Not really even. I'm happy with what I got.
I'm looking at his previous times now. He's down at the second split.
So if there's one thing that we are fighting for right now, is consistency. I doubt I will be able to consistently score 1 minute and 17, but I would like to consistently score 1 minute 19, 1 minute 18.
The front wings on these cars have had to be changed in recent years. They now have a thicker, rounded end plate so they can stand a much lesser chance of puncturing a tyre if they hit it.
This looks like a slower lap. He's down at split 1. Third gear, 4th, up into 5th. That's intermediate 2, and he's slower than his best. Third, down into 2nd.
Yep, there we go. If we can reach 118 on the next 3 laps, that means we got the consistency down.
This looks like a slower lap. He's down at split 1.
Of course, during the actual race, we are not going to be able to reach that fast, basically those lap times, if I'm not going to drop a little bit of fuel.
How he compares with his previous best lap, that's intermediate 2, and he's slower than his best.
Because I'm going to start the race with 30 laps of fuel, going to go to the pits, refuel for 31 laps, so it's going to be any kind of lap between 20 and 30 and 50 and 60. That's going to be the one
we're sitting here in glorious sunshine. It's
that's going to pretty much allow me to beat the current lap record, but that's during the race. Right now we are going for the qualifying session, and I should not let go of turning to the right. I should push into the right so I can stay tight and not allow the understeering to take control of the car. Just brake a little bit, brake once slightly, brake for the second time as well slightly, and then just keep that push it to the right as much as possible.
That's down on his previous fastest lap over the second sector.
One of the problems the drivers have to contend with is visibility. Their visors get very dirty out on the track. Every 5 laps or so they'll need to give it a wipe to keep it clear with the back of their glove or their sleeve.
I'm happy with this.
Of course, when it gets really difficult to see, they can peel off one of the clear tear-off strips that cover the visor.
Getting consistent 118, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Up into 4th, up into 5th, up into 6th.
If I could get the same on qualifying session, like at just 1 minute 18 something, we're gonna be set for the race, because this race is, like I said, it's not a very difficult race to win. Doesn't matter which conditions we're gonna get.
One thing we might see this year is drivers having problems with cramp. All the teams have followed Williams' lead from last year and positioned their drivers lower in the car, reclined further back with their feet raised up more. He's down at the second split.
Your lap times are down. Is there a problem?
Yeah, there's a guy screaming through the microphone that have been evidently bought in Walmart with $3. You know, that might be just a slight problem. Just a slight one.
He's already behind his best time at intermediate 1. That's down on his previous fastest lap over the second sector.
Hey, Ice. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Sixth.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm currently on my third attempt to complete this race. Doing the practice session, beating my personal best record by a large margin already on the first lap.
This year, all the teams have lowered the driving seat to try and combat the turbulence caused by the driver's helmet, which reduces the efficiency.
And right now we are
of the
just
air intake
cruising,
into the engine.
going
Another
for
benefit
more
we hope to
consistent
see
laps
will be better
across the
handling of
board.
car due to the lower centre of gravity.
Down into second. Down into first.
Besides that, you know, chilling.
Let's have a look
Driving.
at his practice time so far. That's down on his previous fastest lap over the second sector.
So that's that, doing pretty alright. Can't really complain.
I'm looking at his previous times now. He's down at the first split.
Yeah, Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing, sure. I wouldn't say that I'm that good at racing games. I would say that I'm
That's
relatively
intermediate
good.
2, and he's slower than his best.
I would say that I'm relatively good with this one because this is my very first video game that I have ever played in my life. I might be good with Gran Turismo 2, maybe. I haven't played that game in a couple years now. But give me one of the modern driving games and I'm gonna have a lot to learn. Because the racing games have definitely changed over time, and there's definitely a significant change in physics and how the cars are reacting. So I will have a lot to learn again.
The team will be watching this lap closely on their monitors. At split 1, he's up on his best.
Nostalgia? I would say yes and no.
Down into second.
Because technically speaking, I did one season of this game like offline.
Sixth gear.
On the side. And then I thought, hey, I want to see if there's anybody else on YouTube or Twitch who did like a full championship with all malfunctions, all immersion settings turned on, you know, all that stuff. And I searched far and wide, nobody have done that. At least as far as I could find. And I was like, hey, nobody have done that. I haven't found anybody. I could be the first guy who's gonna do the full championship like this. And yes, I'm gonna dive into that, and we are currently on round 9. Sure, with several attempts, and at one point I had to change the entire championship from round 5. Change a couple rules. Well, technically one rule. That benefits me, but also makes it a little bit worse for me. So it's balanced to an extent. But yeah, I'm basically doing it because nobody have ever done that before. And sure, I might not be the most professional guy on the planet.
This lap closely on their monitors. I don't think he's going to better his time.
Visual-wise, you know, lighting-wise, or anything like that, but
an interesting point to note is
the fact I'm going to do it as the first person ever in the world, that's going to be a good enough motivation for me.
Take above the driver's head. It'll be interesting to see what difference this makes.
Right, that's going to be the end of the practice session.
That means you have to slow down to 75 miles per hour in the pit lane.
That's the end of the practice session. We already have driven our car to the point where we have only when we only have fuel for 1 lap of the race. That means we are going back to the car setup, which is gonna also restart the weather. But yeah, this is also kind of a nostalgia land. That would be accurate. But you know, just the fact that I can do something that nobody else have ever done, that is a motivation enough for me, despite the fact that there are obviously some things that basically kind of stop me from continuing this. Not besides the car malfunctions, but also a little bit on my own behavioral side and my mental state side. But that's besides the point because we are almost halfway through the championship. Right, so we got practice session with 1 minute 17. And now we're going for qualifying session. Qualifying session is pretty much the same amount of laps, the same amount of fuel. The only thing is that's gonna change is that we're gonna pit in every 4 laps so we can compare our times versus the times of other drivers that are currently on the track. If the rain is gonna show up anytime in the middle of the qualifying session, we are basically going to end the qualifying session, be happy with the time that we got. So let's try to get our best. We don't really have to try that much because we just cruising through this entire track and we are doing such a great time that I don't think we really have to be afraid of anything. Anyway, qualifying session, let's go. The first lap, I'm always going to consider it as a warm-up lap during the qualifying.
An interesting point to note is that both Williams and Jordan, two of the great innovators in car design, have opted for an oval air intake above the driver's head. It'll be interesting to see what difference this makes.
Plans for April. After this, the plan is to jump to the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And do a modded playthrough of the game. Okay, I'm not gonna get the better time over here, so we're gonna try and lap 3. But we're gonna see when we're gonna finish this, because if by some miracle, by some evil deeds, we're gonna finish this at the first half of the April, like after the 12th of April, I'm just simply gonna jump into Resident Evil 4, the remake. Because the game at that point is gonna be 3 weeks after the release. Most of the people are gonna already play through it, I think.
Third, down into second. Third.
So I will be very easily able to get into that game, but even before I'm gonna jump into the remake itself, I'm gonna play the original RE4 just so I can have a point of reference.
One unique feature of the Stuart car design is the high side pods on the car and the large turning range.
So when I'm gonna play remake, I am gonna be like, hey, I remember this from the original playthrough. They did that and this better or worse.
Accumulation can actually cause a drop off between 10 and 20% in the radiator's efficiency.
Third.
It's gonna be a New Game Plus on Professional too.
Up into sixth. It does look as if the weather may be changing for the worse if those clouds...
Well, we are not gonna
go
reach that better time on lap 3 because we got a slower car in front of us.
He's already behind at the first split.
So we're gonna go to the pits. We already have a 1 minute 18 as the best lap that we have reached, which is already plenty enough to basically get the first place and just win the entire race. Like at this point, I'm just trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible for RE4 Remake.
Let me just check how that time compares. He's down at the second split.
But yeah, we'll see. We still have like solid 4 days of March. I do not expect to do like 3 races in the same day, though I'm gonna be honest, doing 2 races a day would be an optimal, it would be a very, very optimal number. Especially starting from today, 2 races a day would be a great thing to do.
You cannot be tense. You're strapped in. You feel every movement. You're part of the car, and if you're tense with the car, it slides that little bit more. You must relax and let the car do the work.
Maybe if I ignored the practice session, which I won't, maybe if I ignore the practice session, I would be able to just like do 3 races a day.
He's already behind at the first split.
But then again, I don't know. Time is a weird construction. Anyway, on this lap we are going to the pits because we're gonna see who's currently on the track.
He's down at the second split.
And who's currently at least slightly slower, well, slightly. It's an understatement. Michael Schumacher, if he's on the track right now, he's gonna be 5 seconds slower than me because I did see the grid on a regular basis after the qualifying session. He always keeps that 5 seconds of a time. Yeah, over 6 seconds more than Frentzen. Seems like Michael Schumacher is not on the track yet. Okay, I'm gonna launch at 45. Oh, never mind. Press the X accidentally. I can launch over now. It's not a big deal.
The weather's overcast, meaning that conditions are cooler out on the track. Second
That
gear,
they are.
up into third, fourth, fifth gear.
Lap 5 is a
up into
warm-up.
sixth.
Lap 6 and 7 are gonna be the ones in which I'm gonna be able to beat my record, though I am going to be honest, there's no way we are not gonna get first onto the grid.
The weather may be changing for the worse if those clouds are anything to go by. He's already behind his best time at intermediate 1. That's intermediate 2, and he's slower than his best. New safety rules for the design of the cars this year have meant that the teams have had to include a deformable structure behind the gearbox to protect the driver in the event of rear impact. Ferrari did this last year, and they've already overcome most of the problems, like excessive vibration, which can crack the rear wing.
Also, the other thing, if after Oblivion and Resident Evil 4 Remake, we are still not gonna get the DLC for Cyberpunk, the Phantom Liberty DLC, if we're not gonna get it, I'm just gonna do a playthrough of it with a different build.
He's already behind his best time at intermediate 1.
And most likely modded too.
That's intermediate 2, and he's slower than his best.
Well, the track is getting darker and darker, so we're definitely gonna get a rain during qualifying, and everything seems like it.
Third gear. Fourth. Up into fifth. Sixth gear.
I just got lost in the thought.
This looks like a slower lap. He's down at split 1.
Because I'm gonna be honest, if not for the fact that we basically had to repeat a lot of part of a season over here, we would be practically at this point we would be over, and we still had like a few days to play some other games, but I'm way too stubborn. I really want to do this challenge over here. I really want to achieve that.
That's intermediate 2, and he's slower than his best.
Because even if this on YouTube is gonna get published a little bit later, because I still have to finish posting Elder Scrolls Oblivion, then Dead Space Remake is gonna get posted, then Formula 1, and after that I'm thinking about posting the Cyberpunk 2077, my very first playthrough of that game at least. And after that, I guess we got Mass Effect Trilogy still on YouTube, just cooking. The one with Infiltrator. Because next year in November, I already have noted that when I'm going to be doing Mass Effect trilogy playthrough, I'm going to be doing it as a Vanguard. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And of course with mods.
I don't think he's going to better his time. He's behind at split 2.
Alright, going to the pits now. And it's already starting raining. So I don't know if there's a point of continuing. Yeah, Schumacher is also much slower. Like, I have so much advantage over the other cars that I don't really have to finish the qualifying anymore. But honestly, let's see. Maybe the weather condition is just threatening us and nothing really evil is gonna happen.
This'll be a new hazard. The track's difficult enough in the dry, but wet on slick tires is the hardest situation of all.
Okay, lap number 9, it's a warm-up.
Okay, let's have a look at the qualifying time so far. He's already behind his best time at intermediate 1.
Also, if there's a one, actually there are 2 playthroughs that, assuming when we're gonna finish this, we're gonna start them as well.
Second per lap. Fuel load, as in the aviation industry, is measured in kilos, not litres, and is precisely calculated to give optimum performance for minimum weight.
The commentators, oh my god,
I picked the third.
the commentators in this game, I really know when to pick the moment to talk.
Down into second.
They really know when to, they really know when to start talking over me.
At split 2.
Anyway, there are actually still 2 games, that's 2 playthroughs that I want to do. Dead Space Remake with Impossible NG+, and Dead Space 1, the original, because the first-person mod got released. And there's very little coverage on that specific thing. Therefore,
the lap times are beginning to get slower now as the drivers have to
I
pick
want
their
to
way
get
more
into
carefully
that
through the damp
as
surface.
soon as possible.
The drivers in the slowest cars who don't get a time less than 107% of the
Okay, we are not gonna
fastest
get a better
qualifying
time on lap 10.
can
It's
appeal
whatever.
to the stewards.
We are gonna be on the first
But
place anyway.
It's very unlikely that they'll be successful. He's down at the first split.
It's important in the wet to use the whole track, drive intelligently and creatively, and find the areas of grip.
But yeah, this year is a little bit chaotic. At least the first quarter of it.
He's down at the second split.
I hope by the time we're gonna be done with Resident Evil 4 Remake, the time we're gonna be done with Oblivion, is gonna calm down a little bit. Because honestly, I want to do a proper Fallout New Vegas playthrough as well. The one that we had before, I'm glad that I managed to get into it and finish it, but I need to reinstall the entire Fallout New Vegas before I'm gonna start modding it again.
He's already behind his best time at intermediate 1.
In a busy qualifying session, a Grand Prix driver has to be really on the limit. He brakes at the last moment, turns in very fast, cannot afford any mistakes whatsoever.
fourth, third, down into second, third, up into fourth. That's intermediate 2, and he's slower than his best. Up into second.
It might be raining, but the weather is not really that horrible
I may
yet.
be speaking too soon, but it looks to me as if the rain isn't as hard as it was. Fifth, sixth.
Well, now it's time to only finish the qualifying, and that's it. We're gonna go for the race. And I hope that on this attempt, the weather is gonna be a little bit more merciful. Not the weather, but I hope the race is gonna be more merciful and it's not gonna burn my engine at a lap 20 or lap 40.
Let's see how he compares with the previous qualifying times. This looks like a slower lap. He's down at split.
Because I really want to finish this one and then just get over Hockenheim, because Hockenheim is just boring. As a matter of fact, I have a sound effect that I would love to use. To perfectly express my frustration when it comes to the Hockenheim track.
That's down on his previous fastest lap over the second sector.
Yeah, and I think I even can see the button. That's my opinion about the Hockenheim.
Boring.
It is boring. It is, to me, it is technically the second worst track in the game. Not because it's not really that long. Well, the track is long, but it's basically starting from finish line. You have only a long right, straight, chicane, straight, chicane, straight, chicane, turn to the right, turn to the left, turn to the right. It's... There's nothing happening during that race, basically. It's just very bad. But yeah, that's the grid for the Silverstone Grand Prix. We are first, obviously. Michael Schumacher is 4 seconds behind us. Fisichella on the 3rd position with 5 seconds. John Alesi is next. Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Ralf Schumacher is the last. Alright, so race. We're going for 1 pit stop strategy, which means we are currently fueling our car with 30 laps of fuel. And then when we're gonna go to the pits, we're gonna fuel it with 31 laps of fuel. So yeah, let's see how it's gonna go. The 3rd attempt of the Silverstone race. Brain fart, let's go.
Welcome to Silverstone, the home of the British Grand Prix. This year, the familiar 3.2-mile circuit here in Northamptonshire has had another facelift. Although the changes which Damon Hill had a hand in will hopefully make this an even more exciting race. The most dramatic change is the flattening of Copse Corner to make it faster. So we should see some overtaking there. Back in 1995, Johnny Herbert had a marvellous win in front of the home crowd. Let's hope one of the British drivers will be standing on top of the podium today.
Yeah, which I'm also gonna correct something at the same time. Damon Hill have not won the 1997 Grand Prix. He was 6th. It was more of a personal victory for him because it was one of those races in which his car actually did not malfunction or he didn't went out of the race. So yeah, it was the very first points and he was extremely happy about it. I also see that I have a smudge on my glasses, so again, while I'm not starting the race, I'm gonna take as much opportunities to be ready for it as I possibly can. Don't really like to delay that much, but sometimes you have to. Alright. Let's hope that the 60 laps of the race is not gonna get interrupted by a malfunction.
The drivers are getting ready for the start. They're lined up on the grid. Watch for the lights going out. Go! They fly off the grid towards turn 1.
Branson is already getting a use of my draft, and he moved from a further position into the grid from the 6th to the 2nd position. I believe Fisichella is right behind him, and right behind him is Michael Schumacher, if not it's Eddie Irvine. And now we're just straight up pulling. We are not going to see any cars in front until lap between 7 and 8. So at this point, we're just going in and enjoying the track. But yeah, Follow New Vegas is another of the things that I'm planning to do. Another thing that I'm planning to do is do a From Software quadrilogy. It will be all the games that I own from Software library, which will be Dark Souls 1, 3, Elden Ring, Sekiro.
All the teams have followed Williams' lead from last year and positioned their drivers lower in the car, reclined further back with their feet raised upwards.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a Fallout New Vegas with some quality of life changes and also a lot of quest mods. Like New Vegas Bounties, Russell. There are plenty of quest mods that Fallout New Vegas actually has. And there's definitely something happening in the back of the track. Some kind of malfunction.
Let's see how
on somebody's side, somebody probably slid.
Williams number 1. In 2nd place, Heights Harold Frenson. 3rd, Michael Schumacher. 4th, Giancarlo Fisichella. In 5th place, Jean Alesi. In 6th position, Gerhard Berger.
But yeah, I at least have a hunch to try to at least do Dark Souls 1, you know? I supposed to do a Dark Souls trilogy during March, but we had Dead Space Remake, and that already took like over 2 weeks. And Dark Souls From Software Marathon would take over a month. Because Dark Souls 1 is the game that I know the most, so it would be like 4 to 5 days of playthrough. Then it's Dark Souls 3, which I don't really know that much. Elden Ring, which I played through only once. And there's also Sekiro, which I never played. And sure, I do have Dark Souls 2, with all the DLCs, the Scholar of the First Sin DLC. But the thing is, I am not going to play that game for free. That would simply not happen. And besides that, I don't know. There'll be still at least like 5 months of the year to play some different games. The time will tell what's gonna be played on this channel, whatnot. As far as I care, I can play even freaking I don't know. I cannot even figure out the name of the game out of my finger. I basically am I'm willing to play any game as long as I have people who are watching me and people who want to talk to me on the stream. that is currently my main motivation for streaming. Besides, of course, being able to pay my bills. You have to kind of prioritize being able to pay your bills because of streaming as a priority, because without that, without having a internet connection, which in itself leaves a little bit to be desired, but without being able to pay for internet connection and my part of the bills for the house, we would not have those streams. I would not be doing this.
Let's see how they stand now. The race leader, Williams, #1. In second, Heitz Harold Frentzen. In third position, Michael Schumacher. In fourth, Gerhard Berger.
So yeah.
In fifth place, Giancarlo Fisichella.
I'm happy with what I currently have, even though I always say that I could have more. And by more, I don't necessarily mean monetary-wise, I mean viewership-wise. I would like to attract more of the followers for my channel to be like, hey, jump in, let's have a conversation, let's have a talk. And it's very hard for me as well to do that, because I know that my personality is, well, I'm unique, to say the least.
This is terrible! He's just hit Damon Hill!
Well, at least we know that it was Damon Hill that have collided back in the race, and he's probably the slowest guy.
You've got quite a lot of damage there. Do you want to come in?
And he damaged me enough that my front suspension had possibly went to trash, so I'm just gonna replace that.
The mechanics will probably be getting ready to put a new front wing on. All the time the mechanics are working on that damage.
My main motivation for streaming and doing this is basically having some people that watch me and want to say hello, how am I doing, want to have a conversation about random things. That is definitely a much bigger motivation to me than anything else on the planet. Bills are important, they're always going to be important, obviously. And I think I'm going to end it on that specific topic. Because I think I have said my message quite clearly. Though if there would be something that I could add, is that I understand that not a lot of people would be, for example, interested in this. Because not everybody likes racing games, not everybody likes cars, not a lot of people is interested in cars. And let's not forget that my background, my roots, I started with the Fallout 4, which is a shooter with RPG elements. So yeah, for now, it is what it is.
This young man had a fantastic first season last year, giving his teammate Damon Hill a real run for his money in the championship battle. This year, all eyes will be on the French-Canadian as he continues his Formula One campaign.
It seems like Fisichella have dropped from the 3rd position all the way down to 5th. Okay, maybe if I could add something more to the previous topic, is something about motivation. Because you can motivate yourself, and you might have a reason to be motivated to stream, like various reasons. You yourself can be a motivation, but it's not gonna change the fact that at a certain point of it, the bigger motivation is not just gonna be you yourself, it's also gonna be the people who are surrounding you while you stream.
#1. In second position, Heitz Harold Frentzen. In third position, Jean Alesi.
And quite honestly, the more the better.
Michael Schumacher. In fifth place, Gerhard Berger. In 6th, Giancarlo Fisichella.
And I honestly wish I could just attract every single person to my stream, if possible, you know, but I know it isn't. It is practically... There's no way I could be like, hey, I'm streaming a racing game, everybody will come in. No, that's impossible. I can forget about that happening. It's absolutely unrealistic. So I'm basically, despite all those years, I'm still learning to be happy with what I got. Just be happy with what I got and try to push on, move on forward, and that's it. The weird thing about playing different games is that once a person is going to immediately notice that I'm playing something else, they are not going to step into the channel, but the moment I'm going to start playing something again, it's actually a little bit of a psychology thing. Once the person notices that I'm playing something that he likes again, for some reason they are not really willing to click on my channel. I know that because I have the same thing. And I actually fought it off because I understand the position of a streamer right now. At this point, when I see a creator, I tend to click on the creator's channel depending on what kind of behavior the creator has, like what he does, not just by what he does on the stream, but how he interacts with everybody, how he interacts with his chat. And I learned a little bit from that myself as well. Even though I know how my brain functions, and I know that sometimes I just don't even follow any of that. Sometimes my anxiety just takes over and gives me a bunch of... Well, anxiety cannot give me a lot of negative thoughts, but my anxiety can turn in and a lot of negative thoughts are getting accumulated in my head. Which actually kind of shown up last week. I had a lot of anxiety. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the thing, Eyes. A lot of people are actually doing that. Like, for example, somebody had grabbed Dead Space. Somebody have grabbed Dead Space Remake. They noticed that there are a lot of streamers who are playing it, and they're usually gonna click on that streamer. But the problem is, the moment the streamer is gonna stop playing Dead Space Remake, all of a sudden that viewer is gonna disappear. Like, just erase himself out of the existence. We got, yeah, that's a McLaren with malfunction.
Let's see how they stand now.
And we are starting to lap all the drivers.
Williams, number 1. Second, Heights Harold Frenson. In 3rd place, Jean Alesi.
That's 2 Stuart Fords in front.
Gerhard Berger. In 5th place, Michael Schumacher.
And I'm not saying that you are like that. I'm speaking in general. Like, even I, with all the channels that I follow, I at least try to say hello. You know, that you guys have no idea how single hello can change somebody's day and not make somebody just feel lonely or abandoned. And it actually can. It actually can feel you basically being noticed. Like, even a single hello or an emote of hello in the chat. Even if you just stop for 5 minutes. Okay, that was my controller. I think the wire for the controller got loose. Okay, I had to push it in a little bit deeper. Giggity. But yeah. I can also understand lurkers. Like, a lot of people just want to step into the channel and, you know, just sit back. Don't interact, just sit back. Whatever you're playing, you're playing. They just want to have some kind of form of a background noise, and I do understand that. And it's fine. Lurkers are people too, and they also help. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I understand both aspects of the viewer, lurker, and also the streamer at the same time. And it took me a little bit of time to understand that as well. I would say that my learning of how Twitch works, how streaming works, how entertainment of that kind actually works. I'm still learning that, and I'm still trying my best. It might take a while, but I'm still keeping on trying, you know? And I think that's what is most important. And sure, there are lower times, there are darker times, there are brighter times when I stream. But it is what it is. Hey, Sodium.
The top positions are: first, Williams #1. In second, Heights Harold Frenson. Third,
Hope you're doing
Jean
well.
Alesi. In fourth, Gerhard Berger. In fifth position, Michael Schumacher. Sixth, Giancarlo Fisichella.
Well, that's a wall of text. I'm gonna have to read it in parts. It is very brutal to witness it, yes. Getting stuck in one video game is an awful thing. It's very, very awful. Because I almost did that to myself with Fallout 4, and...
Oh dear!
Good job.
It looks like the car behind just smashed straight into his rear.
Good job, Mr. Ferrari. That was absolutely necessary for you. Yeah, it is pretty bad when you got stuck. Like, I got almost myself stuck with Fallout 4. I played it for 2 years, and I'm actually really glad that I managed to stop playing it, because the more I would play it, the more I would basically feel I would just not be able to play it. No. At a certain point, I would just get up and quit. I know that, because on my previous playthrough, I have already was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this game, and I kind of gave a lot of hints about that. I'm gonna bring it more variety.
Equaling the record of Ferrari. We're now about a quarter of the way through the race.
Yeah, a lot of people are watching for content, that's true. Content is one thing, but personality of a streamer is also there. It's also pretty important. Because you may just create like the best content in the world, but if you treat other people like a piece of shit, then the only thing that you're gonna attract is just a lot of clout, but not actual viewership or actual, you know, regular viewers.
Let's see how they stand now. The race leader, Williams, number 1. Second, Gerhard Berger.
Yeah, just saying, like I said, just saying hello is can go a long way. So basically people don't feel alone.
6th place, Ralf Schumacher.
And I do remember how it felt when I started streaming, you know, when you don't have anybody in your stream for like over 3 months. And I know for a fact that also with the current situation that is, you know, happening with Twitch, me reaching partnership it's gonna be that's gonna be problematic, to say the least. But partnership is a different thing. At this point, being affiliate and partnership, the only benefit of being a partner is the fact that you're unlocking higher internet connection for your streams, and that you basically get more emote slots, but that's pretty much it. And maybe, just maybe somebody on Twitch is gonna listen to you. Just maybe.
One of the problems the drivers have to contend with is visibility. The visors get very dirty out on the track. Every 5 laps or so, they'll need to give it a wipe to keep it clear with the back of their glove or their sleeve.
Yeah, true.
When it gets really difficult
having a
to see,
chill stream or stream in a good mood condition, that is also pretty important. I'm trying like I said, I'm trying my best to provide like at least a reasonably good vibe during my streams. It's not always possible. But I'm trying my best. Even though I'm not, I know for a fact that I do not sound the most awake person in the world. I never am.
Interesting point to notice that both Williams and Jordan, two of the great innovators in car design, have opted for an oval air intake above the driver's head. It'll be interesting to see what difference this makes.
And that's because I'm only getting like maybe 6 hours of sleep every day, and from time to time it definitely takes a toll.
I'm looking at the race order now. In first, Williams, number 1. In second place, Heitz Harold Frenson. In third
But you know, this is also what you get when you spend,
Gerhard Berger.
besides streaming, when you spend most of the day taking a good look on the elderly person that you have in your house.
David Coulthard.
And you simply try to make sure that they are not lacking anything in the house. And that's Princeton in front of me. Well, and they do not lack anything like right now at that point of time. Yeah, Frentzen is still on the number 2. That's actually very, very nice. I don't know where the Ferrari drivers have went. So yeah, it is what it is. If there's a one thing that I could say is kind of annoying me is all the people who are trying to... that's a grass right there. It's all the people who are trying to like give advice on how to become popular. Even though they perfectly know that streaming on any platform, no matter which one you are on, it's all about luck more than anything else.
The drivers will be getting into their rhythm now for the middle section of the race.
Well, take a look at that. Michael Schumacher is actually right behind the Frentzen. Damon. I think that's Damon Hill, and he's not really letting me go through. Yeah, in my case, like everybody knows, I'm taking care of my grandmother. And basically, the only positions that she can be in is either standing, and she already stands only on one leg, kind of, because she's using a cane. She kind of stands on the one leg. She either can stand the way she does, or she basically lies in the bed. But despite the fact that she kind of cannot really move a lot or do a lot, she's still persistent enough
Race order
to cook.
Williams number 1.
Like, I cannot take that away from her,
Michael
honestly.
Schumacher, Gerhard Berger.
I really cannot take that away from her. If I would take away from her her ability to cook, her passion for cooking, then she would just not physically die, but she would basically go in such a deep depression for not being able to basically do some things that it would basically kill her as a person. Yeah, you could get some pretty realistic games back in the day. Like, this was released in '97, right? And it was already pretty damn realistic. I mean, you have the failures management, you have the tire wear, fuel depletion, damages to the body of the car, downforce. Fuel fuel is basically the amount of fuel can describe how fast you can go on the track. Same with downforce. You got suspension setting, which I never managed to figure out in my life. I don't understand the suspension setting at all. You can set the brake bias and anything like that. There's a game that was just released 1 year after this one that was much more immersive car settings wise. It was Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo had all the various settings when it comes to brakes, suspension, gearbox, turbo. You could manipulate it over that. You basically, if anybody was in any type of car engineer, they had a field day with Gran Turismo. Same right now. Because I still remember in original Gran Turismo games, you could set up the spring rate, how jumpy, how jumpy the car is, but how the springs are gonna react on the track, how high the car is gonna be, which also includes the hardness of the suspension and aerodynamics, camber, dampener, stabilizers, freaking gear ratios. This game doesn't have it. It's still pretty good, but it does not really give you it doesn't really allow you to manipulate with the car as much as you can. Too much for my brain? Dude, it's too much for my brain too. Like in Gran Turismo, assuming that I'm ever gonna touch that game, I'm only gonna adjust like suspension in to some extent, spring rate, stabilizers, brakes, downforce, and the gear ratio, so it can be so we still get enough speed, but the shifts are pretty short. Because there's just way too much to set up. You can even set up the DSL.
Race order. Williams number 1.
Wait, what was the name of that setting in the game? What was the LDS, not LSD, DSL? It was something responsible for the stability and the acceleration of the of one of the other parts of the car. I do not remember which one it was at this point. But there was also included traction control, yaw control, active stability control, and you could just manipulate all of that. Like tweaking with the car in the very first 2 Gran Turismo games, it was like the entire joy of it. Because racing was... Well, racing, that's a different situation, because I'm basing it out of Gran Turismo 2 experience. And Gran Turismo 2 in itself was a pretty easy game, besides some of the AIs, well, kind of cheating. Not gonna lie. Some of the AI was actually actively cheating. Like, for example, in Gran Turismo 2 during the Historic Cup, when you went onto the race, the maximum power of your car was 295 brake horsepower, yet during that race, a GT40, the actual GT40 could appear in that race, and that was a special car worth 500,000 credits with 305 brake horsepower and less than a ton of less of a ton of the weight. So yes, pretty much those races were immediately lost. Yes, even in this game, the AI can be very cheap. Let me give you an example. During one of the attempts in the French Grand Prix, Michael Schumacher, AI driver, basically was set up in such way that he basically pulled up a over 20 seconds leadership over everybody on the track on lap anywhere on the lap between 15 and 20, and he was pretty much uncatchable. Even during the rain, his AI was like herder, AI speed goes burr, and he just bursted out. There was no physical way of catching him. You know, the moment I have managed to caught him during like stopping in the pit lane, the moment I managed to stop, basically catch him over there, it was kind of like no point, because he went out of the pits, and on the basically the first straight that he could possibly get, he basically went like, okay, now you see me, now you're not.
Race order. Williams number 1.
Just full speed ahead.
Gerhard Berger. Jean Alesi.
Suddenly, DSR without DSR. It was absolutely insane how fast that AI driver went. And as a matter of fact, I know for a fact that I'm gonna encounter that kind of situation plenty of times during the race, and I'm okay with it. I'm fine with that. It is what it is. If he's not gonna be stupendously overpowered, that basically is gonna give me a challenge, and it's gonna make races more exciting.
This year, all the teams have lowered the driving seat to try and combat the turbulence caused by the driver's helmet, which reduces the efficiency of the air intake into the engine. Another benefit they hope to see will be better handling of the car due to the lower centre of gravity.
But yeah, that all depends on the race and also depends on the track.
It looks like there was a coming together there.
That's my fault. I took that risk. Because it also all depends on the track. Like, for example, in Silverstone, I can just push it to the limit. Just keep on driving and not even worry about losing a race, because I know I am faster, because I know the track. I know every corner, I know where I can overtake, I know which how to take most of the corners, I know how fast I can be. So when it comes to Silverstone, I don't have to worry. Where we have to worry is, for example, Hockenheim, because despite the fact that you can kind of, sort of, like shortcut some of the chicanes there are in the Hockenheim, you still have an AI that no matter how much downforce you put, no matter how light you're gonna make your car, it's gonna cut you on the straight. They're gonna just cut you on the straight, no matter how fast you are going to be. But you know, Hockenheim is basically gonna be cross fingers and just beat the race. Just end the race no matter what kind of position I'm gonna achieve. Because, like I said, pretty much, I think either on the previous attempt or at the beginning of this Grand Prix, Hockenheim is not my favorite track. It's boring. The track is so boring, I can still memorize it after all these years. I'm even gonna say it right now. Finish line, long right, straight, chicane, straight, chicane, straight, chicane, long right, kind of a short, not short, hard left.
Race order. Williams number 1. Heights Harold Frenson. Gerhard
Corner
Berger.
to the right, finish
Jean
line. That's
Alesi.
all there is. And you know, that would not be a problem if the track took only like maybe 1 minute and 10 to beat. That track takes over 1 minute and 30 seconds to beat, because of how long the straights are and how wide they are and how there's nothing in front of you that would keep you awake. And yes, I already feel sorry for myself, but also feel sorry for the people who are gonna watch me during the Hockenheim race.
That's halfway through the race.
Alright, this is the lap 30, so we're going to the pits. We are gonna go to the pits right now.
Fuel's getting low. Get ready to come in.
Gonna change tires, fix the rear wing, refuel for 31 laps, and then hopefully we'll be able to finish the race. Actually, currently we have quite an explosion of AI technology. And how precise it can be. It's actually very scary how good the AI is right now. And, you know, currently we have AIs that are basically helping people, but we have to be still very, very aware of what AI is possibly capable of. Which it can be a lot.
That damage he has to the nose will mean a new front
Do we
wing
still
out.
have any tea? Yeah, I have a sip.
They can't afford to make a single mistake in the pits. It's absolutely vital. Everyone does their job perfectly.
Well, no water for me.
It's a slow stop.
10 seconds in the pit stop. It's fine. I mean, technically speaking and realistically speaking, we are not gonna lose the race. We are currently in a situation in which we have lapped every single driver on a track at least once, if not even twice. Therefore, right now, the entire thing about the race right now is just to get to the finish line and be happy. Yeah, when it comes to, you know, human ingenuity and the AI, we need to be careful. We basically need to be careful. And not do any stupid stuff.
Heights Harold Franson.
Excuse me.
John Alesi, Gerhard
Pardon
Berger.
me. Oh my god. Which, now that I said that, we are definitely gonna do something silly with the AI, and it's not gonna bring a lot of benefit for the humanity sometime in the future. But I also believe that we have enough sharp people, like smart people, that's gonna notice, hey, we should not do that because that's freaking dangerous. And then, you know, Terminator and all that stuff. But we'll see. For example, a friend of mine, Rex, a person that was yesterday on the stream, he actually is currently using some kind of NVIDIA software that works with the AI that mutes a lot of outside sounds and allows Rex to basically speak freely and makes his microphone not detect any outside sounds, not any echoes, no double sound as he speaks. And it works like, it works insanely good. Yeah, the 2020s until 2022 was pretty insane. I mean, let's be honest, we are not going out of insanity just yet. We are still kind of sitting in a kind of a deep ship, and that's my teammate Heinz-Harald Frentzen in Otto Williams. Last time I remember he was in the second place. I hope he didn't lose that second place, because that would mean that both Williams drivers are gonna be on the podium, and we're gonna gain even more points in the Constructions Championship, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen is also gonna gain a lot of points for himself. When it comes to AI creation of art, AI can definitely create some good stuff. Let me put it like this. AI can definitely create some good stuff. The technology is not there yet, like fully there yet. But, the question that we need to ask is, like, when it comes to creating AI art, as long as the AI does not take examples from other artists, and AI has actually managed to create something of its own, something that's original, then we can definitely consider as something as an original art and actually credit the AI as an author, as an artist. Because currently, when it comes to art created by the AI basically draws examples from other artists that are currently released their work on the internet, and they're getting all those examples and they're trying to just put them in and create something. It's not really an original art if you are basically taking bits and pieces from other people. You can have an inspiration of the other people, but when your art looks very similar to some other artists, it basically makes you feel like it's a very fast drawn, very rushed homework that you're doing in a school. Basically a situation of okay, you can copy my work, but change a couple letters so the teacher doesn't recognize it. And the problem is, the teacher recognizes, a lot of teachers recognize it, that it's, like, you know, pile of shit, that's a bullshit. That somebody can basically copy-pasted something. So we are not there yet. But I can definitely understand the fears of the artists who are afraid of the AI creations. I can understand if AI is basically using some kind of a filters, and that's perfectly fine, but creating a full images from the very beginning, that is scary for the artists. And I know an artist, actually a few artists myself, and I have talked to them, and I do understand how they feel about that. Some of them don't even care because they are just simply creating art for the sake of creating art. But basically some of them are creating pictures, creating paintings as a form of not just entertainment, but as a form of sustaining their own livelihood. And they are terrified. And I can, to some extent, actually understand that. Looks like Frentzen still keeps his second place, and I hope he will. There's a McLaren in front of me, and he's not really willing to let me go through. Unless it's right now, and that's David Coulthard. Like we even quite recently had an anime that was created by AI. Like I think it was just an intro or some kind of a scene created by AI, but it was not perfect. It was definitely not perfect. Still impressive, but not perfect in any way, shape, or form. And we have a malfunctioning Aros Yamaha over here, some kind of a serious malfunction because he's slugging through the track. Oh yeah, music too. Let's not forget about music. And also let's not forget about the AI used to copy and fabricate voices. Like in some instances, AI fabricated voices are absolutely hilarious. Like there's this one thing that is blooming right now. Basically, President Trump, Obama, and Biden playing Minecraft together, playing video games together, and some of those things are hilarious, absolutely funny. Or when people are taking the voices out of the characters of the video game so they can have some conversations or just shit posting and memeing around. That's great, that's good. That is a proper usage of voices like this. It's just parody. But the shit becomes very, very, very bad when somebody fabricates somebody's voice so you can hear them saying very bad words, like, you know, fabricate a recording, ad-lib them with some shorts of some videos and post them on Twitter as in claiming to be an actual voice of the person, even though it's not even a thing. It will become a problem sooner or later, that's very true. And to try to defend yourself out of those kind of situations will be even more difficult.
One unique feature of the Stuart car design is the high side pods on the car and the large turning vane, which should reduce the amount of debris that is sucked off the track into the radiator grill during the normal course of a race. This sort of accumulation can actually cause a drop-off between 10 and 20% in the radiator's efficiency.
I mean, let's be honest, some of the musicians, some of the singers are already cheating with autotune. In a lot of examples, it just sounds and looks
Williams number 1. Heights Harold
rather
Wilson,
ridiculous.
Gerhard Berger, Jean Alesi. We're into the last third of the race.
Yep, last third of the race. Let's hope that my car is not gonna do me evil. Okay, so we have a Minardi and we have a Ferrari. Kind of a difficult situation to overtake. Not really a lot of space for me, so I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back up from this one. One of the simple benefits. I mean, we are joking, but there was definitely a lot of people who have came into my stream, even, and they were like, "Hey, stop using that voice synthesizer," or anything like that. And I'm like, what? Voice synthesizer? Like, what are you talking about? This is my natural voice. I was born with it. What is, sir? Sir, please, what is your problem? Yeah, Lander is a sin. 100%. I'm just an artificial construct. That's one of the Bentons, but he's keeping his position. He's not really letting go. Whoa, okay, that was... Benetton, please. This kind of driving could be represented by Jean Alesi himself, honestly. Yeah, stay there, please. In actual 1997, one of the Benetton drivers, Gerhard Berger, was actually doing two things at the same time. He did not appear in like 3 races because he was dealing with a sinus infection, and also his father had passed away at that time, so he definitely took like a solid week or two to simply recover. And he was replaced by Sebastian Wirtz.
Williams #1.
I think his name was Sebastian. I know that his second name was Wirtz. And he actually took the podium in the Silverstone on his 3rd race ever in '97 season. He showed that he has teeth. Talking to yourself, basically. I mean, look, when I'm streaming, a lot of time I'm just talking to myself. And it's perfectly fine, you know? Even when I'm like alone in the kitchen and I'm looking at, what could I eat today? And I'm just looking into the fridge and I'm talking to myself, hey, maybe I'm gonna grab this, and you know, it's perfectly fine. As long as you can take control over it and not talk in public. Because, well, that can be slightly embarrassing. I'm actually happy that we had a very nice conversation right now. Despite the fact that I had to mostly focus on the driving and me constructing a sentence, it's kind of impossible. It felt really nice. Yeah, I don't think that Ferrari is gonna get a good position in today's race. In 1997, they did not manage to finish a race. Both of them had to deal with like some kind of rear tire, not even a rear tire, like a rear wheel, some sort of malfunction. Probably a braking liquid or some form of a liquid just poured on their rear brakes and it ignited almost immediately after they left the pit stop. And they had to stop.
We're now at 3/4 race distance.
Alright, 15 laps left.
Race order. Williams #1. Heitz Harold Frenson. Gerhard Berger. Jean Alesi.
Oh yeah. Like, so I'm actually glad that we can have like little conversations like this during this race, because it's pretty much a solid victory. Assuming we're gonna finish the race, that is, and oh boy. I am I honestly do not want to be at Hockenheim. Hockenheim is super boring. And I do not like it. At least, honestly, I do not like it as much as I do not like Canadian Grand Prix. Canadian track is just... ugh. Maybe I'm just gonna be like, hey, if you guys are gonna notice me that I'm falling asleep on the track, use one of the sound effects. But that's during the German Grand Prix. I actually, out of pure curiosity, I have took a look at how the Hockenheim is looking right now, and it's much shorter track, much better. Sure, it still has two very long straight lines, but it is not as long anymore. It's not as boring. Much more turns, much more corners. Lap 47. And that's a Minardi's in front. And boy, were these guys were a problem during the French Grand Prix. On all of the attempts of the French Grand Prix, they were adamant at ruining my race. Either blocking me, driving too slow, or driving too fast into the corners and ramming me in the rear wing. Phrasing.
What was that? Are you alright?
Well, okay. We got a small malfunction. We can fix that while we're gonna go to the pits. And the pits are like right next to us. There's some kind of a malfunction of either engine or a clutch.
Heitz Harold Frenson. Gerhard
But we
Berger,
currently, like I said, we have so
Alesi.
much leadership that we don't have to worry about a thing.
He's crossed the white line now. That means you have to slow down to 75 miles per hour in the pit lane, which he does by hitting a button that activates the rev limiter.
The team's
Wish
been
it was enough
practicing
time
this
to
over
drink some
and
water,
over
but
again until
it's on like
perfect.
4
The
seconds.
pit lane crew did their job superbly for a super fast stop.
Yeah, that sort of malfunction can happen from time to time. And with that malfunction, we will still be able to drive, but at a certain point, the engine would simply give up. You would not be able to gear up or down. But maybe we would be able to gear down, but not up. You should like malfunctions like this because it's a wake-up call. Like, well, hey, wake up, it's time to drive. Ugh. And I'm really happy that at least it's not a disqualifying malfunction. Well, not really disqualifying, but the race ending. Because to me, when I hear disqualifying, that means I broke the rules. Or I did something wrong. 11 laps left. No, actually 12. It's actually 12. You would think that 11 plus 49 is 60, but no. Because you need to do entire lap 60 to finish the race. The race doesn't finish up the moment you reach lap 60. Because then that would be 59 laps, because obvious math is obvious. Yeah. I want to have an opportunity to overtake, but I do not know where or when. Because now Frentzen tries to pack in. I need to overtake them both. Because now Frentzen suffers because of McLaren and because of me. Because technically speaking, Frentzen has to let me go through. And now the Minardi is blocking our path. Holy cow. What a twist. A Minardi blocking way of the drivers. That would never happen. Yeah, I need to let them go through. My god, Minardi, you are being such a slug. And I think, yeah, that's one of the Tyrrell forts. And they're suffering from some form of malfunction.
Race order. Williams number 1. Heinz Harold Frentzen. Gerhard Berger. Jean Alesi.
Yeah, I'd rather play it safe. I'd rather play it careful. Because now Minardi... there's a distance between the Frentzen and Minardi, so I can easily overtake him right here, right now. And now I can go for Heinz-Harald Frentzen. And overtake him on the finish line. I basically always go with the logic of safety first, then overtaking. If I'm 100% sure I can overtake somebody, then I will do that. Or at least I can try, because sometimes I do have those moments in which I basically just charge through and constantly attack. And a lot of time when I'm basically thinking very aggressively, it doesn't pay out well. Because I'm either ending up having my car damaged, or I'm ending in the grass or gravel. Seven laps left. Oh, actually no, 9. Math is difficult, okay? You guys have to forgive me. If there's something that I'm absolutely horrible at, it's mathematics. And I will tell you this much, there's no worse person in mathematics than me. There is nobody. I really want to drink some water. I'm gonna drink more, basically a lot of water after I'm gonna be done with the race. There's not a lot to do anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna slow down over here. And then overtake on the corner.
Race order. Williams number 1. Heights Harold Frenson. Gerhard Berger.
Okay, I got 2 slowpokes, one from Prost and the other one from Stuart Ford. Okay, I think they're both letting me through, which is great. I'm going to suspect that I'm gonna lap all of them at least one more time. I mean, we are currently in a situation in which we don't see a car. There's no lap without a car. Yep, 3 laps ahead. I mean, you can pretty much see how fast I'm driving. While the AI drivers are slowing down on that corner, I'm going full speed ahead through the first corner, second, third, and fourth. And I think I'm only slowing down at corner number 6. Or number 5. Actually, let me count it out in the head. At the starting line, that could be considered as a corner number 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, on number 5. It's number 5 when I'm slowing down because it is basically a sharp corner before another straight. Well, a relatively sharp corner because I have to slow down to only 200 kilometers an hour and not like below 100 something. I can only hope that before the end of the race, the guy from the pits is gonna be like, hey, your tires are looking bad. Come to the pits for a change on the last lap of the race. Because I'm not gonna do that. We got 6 more laps to go. And that was the corner I was talking about, only the thing is I did not slow down. Some of those mistakes would be about to happen because I'm really thirsty. I simply want to finish the race before I'm gonna drink some water. Not every race is gonna be like this, let me tell you. I'm gonna say it straight. A lot of races, if I'm gonna lap a driver once, that's gonna be good.
Race order. Williams number 1.
But because this track, basically I know how to drive fast, this is why I'm overtaking them so many times.
When you're driving a Formula 1 car, you cannot be tense. You're strapped in, you feel every movement, you're part of the car, and if you're tense with the car, it slides up a little bit more. You must relax and let the car do the work. Weight is king in a Formula 1 car. Every extra kilo you have to carry loses you about 200ths of a second per lap. Fuel load, as in the aviation industry, is measured in kilos, not litres, and is precisely calculated to give optimum performance for minimum weight.
4 laps to go. Minardi in front. Is he gonna let me through, or is he gonna be a pain in the butt? Yeah, he's gonna be a pain in the butt. A slight pain in the butt because I'm still fast on this corner. But then again, he could become a pain in the butt if he would decide to be like, yeah, full speed ahead, ramming in the back. Which, when it comes to Minardis, that happened several times throughout the entire championship.
Only 3 laps to go.
And thank God for that. Because as much as I like this track, I kind of grew tired driving on it right now because this is my 3rd attempt in trying to finish this race. And I'm not only thirsty, I'm also getting a little bit hungry, so yeah, definitely a small sandwich break is gonna be
Race order.
happening after
Williams
after this race.
Heinz Harold Frenson, Gerhard Berger, Jean Alesi.
More tense than my own heart. Yeah. I'm a little bit tense myself, not gonna lie. I'm trying to be as relaxed as possible. But I'm tense myself. I am. Feeling Monka Pilot, Monka Drive.
We're into the second to last lap.
Yeah. It is definitely a feeling. Especially considering that I'm pushing the X button with my thumb, and despite the fact that it's that my thumb is all bandaged and stuff, it definitely starts to hurt. I can definitely feel the pain because my thumbs are actually pretty damn small, and I'm pushing the X button with the joint, with the bendy part. And this is actually the worst way to use the, typical PlayStation 1 controller, because after a while, if you are not gonna experience pain, you're gonna experience blisters. And that was a very common thing for the people who are using PlayStation 1 controllers. And right now, I'm currently experiencing both. Oh, thank God, it's the last lap of the race. Not without a reason. Not without a reason I am... Okay, I can actually show it up on this straight. Not without a reason I'm wearing this, And there we go. Friends in front of me. I think I'm gonna finish the race with him on the finish line, so it's gonna be quite a beautiful ending for the race. I'm not going to overtake him, I'm just gonna follow him.
Fuel's getting low. Get ready to come in.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if the fuel is getting low. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is the Silverstone Grand Prix right now is officially finished.
There is the checkered flag.
2 Williams drivers finish up this Grand Prix after 60 laps with additional 18 points of the Constructors Championship. That was a very good race after the third attempt of finishing this race. Yes, I definitely will. I'm actually gonna do it right now before I'm gonna read all the results. Feels good. Feels better. Much better. So, the results after the race. Very professional streamer and YouTuber, by the way. Finished the first after 1 hour and 23 minutes. Heinz-Harald Frentzen finished second. Gerhard Berger was third. Jean Alesi was fourth. Michael Schumacher was fifth, and his brother Ralph finished up sixth. After all of this, I got 90 points in championship. Michael Schumacher is at 50 points. Gerhard Berger has 23. John Lacey 22. Eddie Irvine has 17, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen with 12 points. That puts Williams on the first place in the Constructors Championship with 102 points, Ferrari at 67, Benetton at 45, Jordan with 9, Prost also with 9, and McLaren with a single point. Okay, so first things first, I need to make a save state over here. So I'm gonna save it under save 2. And that is also gonna wrap the race. For people who are currently watching me on Twitch, I'm gonna just take a small break and we're gonna do the round 10, hopefully. For people on YouTube, this is gonna be the end of the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave the comment, all that stuff that is viable on YouTube right now. And I'm gonna see you guys on the next race, Germany, Hockenheim.